25 years ago, there was concern that would the travel advisor make it? Would the OTAs be the death of travel advisors? And we said then, no, and here's the reason why. People are going to trust other people.
Welcome to Luxury Travel Innovators. I'm your host, Adam Deflorian. Joining me live at the Bellagio in Las Vegas for Virtuoso Travel Week is Misty Belles, Vice President of Global Public Relations for Virtuoso. Misty, thank you so much for joining me on Luxury Travel Innovators.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm thrilled to be here.
Wonderful. How is it so far, Virtuoso Travel Week 2025?
It has been a great week, I have to say. Now, I'll also say I've been here for a full week already, so I feel like a Las Vegas resident. But it's been great to connect with so many of our members, our advisors, our partners, and of course the media who are here as well.
Amazing. How many travel weeks is this for you now?
So this is my 25th Virtuoso Travel Week. So I've been to 25 of the 37 of them.
Amazing. Tell our listeners a little bit about your background and what Virtuoso is as a leader in luxury travel.
Sure, absolutely. So I am the Vice President of Global PR for Virtuoso. And my role is to get to tell the Virtuoso story out into the wider world. Virtuoso itself is a network that specializes in luxury and experiential travel. And there are really sort of four main components to the Virtuoso network. There's our travel agencies, and they have about 20,000 advisors across 58 countries. Then we have preferred partners. We have about 2,500 of those in every nook and cranny in the world. And those are your hotels, resorts, spas, cruise lines, tour operators, anyone who touches travel, we have partnerships there. And then the fourth component of that, of course, is the end traveler. And so our travelers, Virtuoso clients, are the clients of our Virtuoso agencies and advisors.
Fantastic. And this year at Travel Week, approximately how many of each do you have?
So we have 4,800 people in total from 107 countries. The breakdown between partners and advisors is about 50-50.
Fantastic. I'd love to hear more about how you engage the industry with Virtuoso as an organization.
As an organization, I mean, we're part of the luxury travel industry, and so we engage our members and our partners to really try to facilitate the relationship between those two entities. That's really where Virtuoso sort of sits as this overarching umbrella to bring those entities together. We're really a company that's based on the importance of human connection. We just feel like the end traveler fundamentally has a different experience when there is a personal human connection behind it. And so we're huge advocates and proponents of making sure our advisors and our agencies have the personal relationships with our preferred partners, which is really what this event is all about.
Fantastic. What sort of changes have you seen over the years? You've been a part of Virtuoso for so many years, and things have changed so dramatically in both, I'm sure, Virtuoso, but just in the industry and the way people book and explore. So what kind of changes have you seen?
I mean, it's been such a huge transition. Just for the sake of numbers, I'll tell you, when I started, the first one I attended here, I think was like 350 people. So you can see how much that's grown. But overall in the industry and the way we travel has changed dramatically. I mean, when I started here, we didn't have all the airport security that we do now. The OTAs were just coming up into the equation. So we've gone through all of these changes, from technological changes to consumer mindset changes to just the world got bigger and smaller all at the same time.
Totally. It's so interesting. And of course, the one consistent aspect of that is that this travel agent has actually just gotten stronger. The advisor has gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. And the role, I think, has become even more and more critical to figure out how people travel, to find them travel that makes sense for them and their families. And with so many additional opportunities to explore the world now that didn't exist 5 years ago, 10 years ago, plus now the advisor is even more important than ever, right?
Absolutely. 25 years ago, there was concern that would the travel advisor make it? Would the OTAs be the death of travel advisors? And we said then, no, and here's the reason why. People are going to trust other people more so than they will technology. As things have evolved and technology has gotten better and certainly has a place and a role in this, having someone who specializes in you and the way you travel is ever more important. You have those curated experiences, but also you have someone who just knows exactly how you travel, not just as you as a solo traveler, but how you travel with your family or your spouse or your friends, or for work that then bleeds into leisure. All of these things, you have somebody to take care of you through that process. So they're saving time, money, frustration, aggravation, but most importantly, they're delivering an experience that's personalized to you.
100%. Now, back then it was OTAs. Then, or I guess probably before that, it was just the internet in general, right? It was like the internet and booking engines are going to replace advisors. Then it was OTAs, and neither have. In fact, the bond, like we said, has just gotten stronger, and the amount of business booked via advisors has just increased. And now it's AI. So what's the word that you tell advisors now on AI, and people saying, well, is an AI agent going to replace the travel advisor?
Yeah, I tell everyone, just calm down.
Yeah.
It will be okay. Technology is not your enemy here. And, I think we will continue to see that. Matthew Upchurch has a great saying, automate the predictable so that you can humanize the exceptional. AI is fantastic about automating the predictable. All of those rote things that take time and focus away from the things that you do really well, let AI handle that. And that way the advisor gets to focus on servicing their client. If AI wants to give you a description of the streets of Rome, take it and doctor it up if you need to.
Yeah.
But really creating that itinerary for your client, that requires the human touch, and making sure someone calls that GM to let them know that you're going to be there next week. That's a person doing that.
And the thing is I talk about this with a lot of advisors as well as suppliers, that if you use AI properly, right, to be able to do what AI functions very well to do, you can actually take more clients because you can do what you are, what you're exceptional at, which again is the human connection piece.
Right.
It's knowing people, it's talking to people, it's soft skills. It's this, let AI make your life easier. Leverage it for homework, so to speak. Like use it where it's needed, but then it gives you more time to do things that you love, which is talking to clients and understanding their needs and helping them, book travel.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, for a long time, we've been asking advisors to do a whole bunch of things that go just beyond, the things that they are exceptionally good at, creating itineraries and writing them all up and all of these other things that, if you're not a writer, asking someone to write almost like romance copy around an itinerary, that's a long, lengthy process to ask someone to do if you're not a travel writer.
Yes.
So even things like that, having some assistance there is time saving and also probably stress saving as well.
Yeah.
But no, it really does free you up to be able to focus on the things that you do well.
Preparing proposals is a great example I've seen being used by advisors. Another one is rate watching.
Yes.
Being able to look at, and hopefully my suppliers aren't mad at me for saying this, right? But being able to watch rates in real time, connected, and if rates change, being able to notify the advisor so they can ensure best value for the guest. There's no tools out there like that on the B2C side, and that's another advantage an advisor has. Out of curiosity, what tools have your advisors? Doesn't have to be AI. We can pivot. Are they asking for? What tools do advisors ask for that you guys are building or exploring?
Yeah, so our tech philosophy is that there is no one size fits all. Mm-hmm. So we have a number of technology partners. We had a technology summit here at Virtuoso Week that we've been doing several years, looking at innovation in the tech space. So you hear a number of different requests based on the agency and the advisor. Some are more tech savvy and they need something that's more in depth. Others just need something to help organize them a little bit better. So it really does run the gamut. I can't say there's one particular thing that they're requesting, but our goal is to find different tech solutions for advisors to help them be more efficient and better at what they do.
And I would guess on the supplier side too, right? They probably have things that they, keeping content updated, things like that they just need, right? So, I would guess. So great. Something that is I talk about quite a bit is how hospitality and travel in general is just such a wonderful industry. It's, I think, the best industry in the world, honestly. Can you share some personal highlights from your 25-plus year career at Virtuoso?
Well, I have to agree with you on it being the best industry. That is why nobody ever leaves here. It says something about it. One, hospitality has to be in your blood, but once it is, it's impossible to get it out. Over the 25 years, I've had some really standout experiences, from my 2-week-long honeymoon on safari to then taking my kids there 10 years later and experiencing it with them. There's no place I was never not excited to go to, and I think that's really what I'm most thankful for, is that I've had an opportunity to travel to some extraordinary places and in an extraordinary way.
What was your most surprising destination? A place that you went that you were just, it was surprising. Like you got there and you just didn't expect it to be the way it was, in a good way.
That's such an excellent question. Let me think through what's really surprised me. Actually, the place that really probably surprised and changed me the most was Japan.
Okay.
And the reason why is that it was my first trip off of North American soil. And so I decided, I'll just go to Asia. That's the way to do it. No easy entry into Europe. And it really changed my perception of my place in this world and challenged just who I was as a person going into a country. And this was in the mid-'90s. Okay. So there was less English on the signage, things like that. So you were a little bit left to your own devices to be able to navigate it.
Totally. I always say that the world would be a more peaceful place if more people had the opportunity to travel and explore other cultures. Creates empathy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is the best education you can possibly have, but it certainly allows you to see that people are people no matter where you go. That's right. Fundamentally, everybody wants the same thing. They want to be happy. They want their loved ones to be happy. All of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. So much of what we hear on Luxury Travel Innovators is about once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Of course, this is what I think Virtuoso agents do best, right? Is create once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Do you have an example or two that you've either heard here at Travel Week this year or from a previous conversation that you've had of a once-in-a-lifetime experience that an advisor has created?
Well, you're right. They are exceptional at doing this. But I'll tell you what I heard this week, which has me just both amazed and super intrigued, is we have advisors in Australia who are planning 8-week-long vacations, and they're planning vacations within those vacations. So at the heart of it, it may be a cruise, but then they're adding on other elements, or it may start with F1. There's a lot around F1 right now. And then they're planning all of these other trips within the larger trip. And I think that's brilliant. First of all, I mean, how fortunate are they to be able to take 8 weeks out of their lives? Right. That does not happen in this country.
No.
But I think we should explore that more.
Yeah. We had Chris Allison this week on the podcast from Tourism Australia.
Yeah.
And I was blown away that he told me that from North America here, the average length of stay in Australia is 3 weeks. And his average length of stay in general was something like what you just said. It was unbelievable. Yeah. I was just blown away because most people in the U.S. certainly don't have 3 weeks of vacation time. So I was shocked.
No, but they're traveling so far that they make the most of it.
And bleisure. They're working remote. It's opened up the ability for them to be able to work while they're there. It's amazing. So how about eco and sustainable travel?
I mean, I'm so heartened to see how far that has come. It's really fundamental to Virtuoso, I have to say. We view our business decisions through the lens of, is this sustainable? So it's really core to who we are as a company, thanks to Matthew and Jessica Upchurch. So we have some data that we just released this week showing that our advisors, 77% of our advisors who were polled said that their clients are much more willing and interested in taking a sustainable trip than they were 5 years ago.
Wow.
So it shows how much that progression has come. And people are now recognizing what the impact of their travel is, both the negative and the positive, and they are willing to pay more to support sustainable efforts if they know where the money is going.
Totally.
Yeah.
You got to know exactly where the money is going.
Yeah, the transparency is key.
Is key. How about over tourism and things? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I am also heartened to see that shoulder season is really drawing people in more, especially at the luxury set. If you're well-traveled and you're not tied to a school calendar, you know that traveling to Italy in September is far better than July. And, luxury travelers are more willing to do that. So we are seeing people pivot on time of year. We're seeing them pivot to off-the-beaten locations. We're seeing them go to cooler climates. And, we're seeing the hotels adapt as well. You're seeing what were previously seasonal hotels staying open until November, December, allowing people to go and experience that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of actual in Sicily. Last year after ILTM, I went down to one of my partners' Roccaforte hotels for a long time, and Villa Egea is staying open year round.
Yeah,
I love that. And I have to say, after early December and down in Palermo, and the weather was perfect. And it was so funny because for the locals, right, it was cold.
Right.
But for me coming from Colorado, I mean, it was beach weather.
Yeah, exactly. It was glorious. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all perspective, right? So with your global footprint, do you see differences in the way that advisors book from different regions?
We do, and I think that's actually one of the biggest strengths of Virtuoso, being a global company, having these advisors across 58 countries. When you have advisors who are very strong from one region booking into something, that buying power translates to the other agencies and advisors across other parts of the world. So there's a great symbiotic relationship that forms when you have advisors from different regions all pulling together. There's benefits to be had there. We see that booking windows are different. Our average booking window this year is 122 days. Okay. That is exactly the same as it was this time last year, which is really interesting. But I was talking to a UK advisor who said our booking window is 18 days. Yep. So, those things vary across country. Consumers behave in different ways, but there is advantages to having all of these advisors under one umbrella who can who have buying power in different ways.
Yeah, and you're so right too. Our we process about $4.5 billion in transactions through our platforms, and we see exactly what you just said. Resorts and the leisure travel, the window outside of urban markets is exactly the same as it was. But yeah, in urban markets, it's tightening. Same thing. So how about partnerships? What partnerships do you have at Virtuoso that enhance the member and consumer experience?
Well, I mean, we have our preferred partners, so that's a big piece of it. And, we're constantly looking at what we can possibly do to enhance that portfolio to make the overall travel experience better for the end consumer. Is it bringing in a different service that ushers them through airports faster? Yeah. Is it, is it a private air partner or a yacht company, something like that? So we're always looking at what we can do to further build those relationships that also enhance that travel experience.
Makes sense. What's your vision for Virtuoso for the years to come?
I've been on this ride for a very long time, and so my crystal ball is sometimes a little bit murky, but I think the things that we'll continue to see are what we're seeing now, just more of it. I think global will continue to be more important, and our growth will continue there as a network. I also think that era of personalization will just continue to be enhanced, not just from the consumer side, but also I think how we work with our members, our partners, our advisors. What they want and need from each other will continue to get more hyper-personalized, I think.
Makes sense, especially leveraging technology and being able to have a more 360 view of every customer and what their needs and wants are. And I guess also potentially like their where they've traveled to, where they haven't traveled to, and where, what might line up with, something that Virtuoso Travel Week does very well, like introduces them to new suppliers so they understand what's new in market to provide to their clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always see it going that way of like Netflix, where if you liked this destination, you should try these 3 others. Yes.
Totally. Can you tell us a little bit about the Virtuoso Travel Tech Summit?
I can tell you a little bit about the Tech Summit. I'll tell you I know just about enough of technology to be dangerous. But the Tech Summit we introduced several years ago was quite small, and now it's grown into 500 people this year. And we were aware that, technology is enhancing every facet of life, but there wasn't a focus on technology for the travel trade that really serviced them so that they, again, could have those enhancements, but then use it to focus on what they do best. And so that was really our goal, was to further explore companies, introduce them into the Virtuoso network, but also introduce our network to them and be able to cultivate those relationships. Again, looking at technology from a very individual standpoint.
Totally makes sense. Well, Misty, thank you so much for joining me on Luxury Travel Innovators. I always like to conclude with 3 rapid-fire questions.
Okay.
I think this might be
Fire
the best
away.
part. I will. What personal travel are you most excited about next?
So I'm always most excited about my next trip. And I have to say, we are rolling out a piece of data survey intelligence over the next maybe 6 weeks or so. So I'll be in Sydney for a week. I'll be in London for a week. So I'm always excited to get out and talk about Virtuoso and be able to travel to places that I love. But looking a little bit further ahead, I started a tradition with my family where I wanted to start each year in a new country. Wow. And so this year we started, landed January 1st in Paris. And so it was the first time my kids had been to Paris, even though I've been a number of times. So we're looking at where we do that for this year. The early bet right now is Easter Island. So I want to do something completely different for them. So
I love it.
I'm hoping that comes to fruition.
I had Francesco from Aqua Expeditions on, and he was just telling me how epic Easter Island is.
That's what I keep hearing. So it's my new obsession.
Amazing, amazing. The show is all about innovation and moving forward, but I think you can only move forward if you understand the past, right? You have to study the past in order to move forward. What do you miss about the glamorous days of travel?
It depends on how far back you want to go. I single-handedly would love to bring back the steamer trunks. Packing in a rollerboard just does not do it for me.
Yeah.
So, I miss some of the glamour of travel. When I was little and we first started to travel, we dressed up for planes. Yep. And so I know that's not the most practical thing, but I really sort of miss a little bit of that presentation that dressed up travel.
It's amazing. Well, especially being in luxury travel with Virtuoso. It's always nice when everybody kind of looks the part.
Yes, exactly.
It's buttoned up. And last, we talk about innovation and moving forward. What innovation in travel doesn't exist today that you think is missing? Doesn't have to be technology. I've been told that the luggage racks are too small, and I agree with him on that.
Yes.
So what innovation is missing that we need?
The luggage racks are actually a great one. I think, though, where we could make some improvements, and I hope they are coming, is utilizing technology to improve the airport experience. Mm-hmm. We have so many people passing through airports, and it is often an experience that does not match the rest of your trip. Yeah. So you're starting off with this very congested, busy, delayed environment, only to then be welcomed into this beautiful respite 12 hours later. If you could have that peaceful experience from the onset and have it streamlined and have technology usher you through that airport experience faster and better, I'm sure the people who work at those airports would love that too.
100%. And it would make vacations start sooner.
Exactly.
And everybody needs that.
From the time you walked out your door, not from the time you arrived in the destination.
Exactly. Thank you, Misty. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching this episode of Luxury Travel Innovators. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. See you next time.